All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Crohn's Veteran Podcast. My name is Jordan McConnell with my co-host CJ Cabrera. Today, we're joined by wellness expert and nutritionist out of California, an amazing person and an IBD advocate, an autoimmune advocate, Sarina Elaine. So, Sarina, welcome to the show, and thanks for being here.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Awesome. And so we wanted to. I think the focus of this, show, the focus of this episode is going to be talking about, health, the health and wellness arena, and specifically how African Americans and people of color, it fit into that. And so, if you don't mind, please, educate the folks out there about, your own journey, with that concept, and what you'd like people to know.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So I'm really excited to be here, and first off, to just connect with you because I know CJ, well, Poporo, right? Is that how you say it? Yeah. So connected with him on Instagram, and so what I love the most is I've really, since the start, so I have ulcerative colitis. I've had it since 2014 is when I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed pretty quickly because the symptoms came on pretty fast. It went from like really sick, out of like I was healthy, and then all of a sudden I got really sick, and then boom, the doctor ordered me a colonoscopy, and then the next day it's like, oh, you have ulcerative colitis. So it's been a journey, but I've always tried to connect with people of color because like the first place I went was online, right? I went online forums, all of that, and I just constantly saw white people, and that's fine, but I just felt like there was not a strong enough connection. I didn't see, and then the people.
You felt like you're the only one.
Yeah, I was like, this is so weird. And then I, had doctors telling me, well, most of the time, the statistics, the race statistics on it, that white people do get it, and also it was just really crazy. So I always tried to make it an effort for me to connect and find people of color with IBD in general, and that's been hard, but literally this year is probably the year that I've connected the most with people of color who have IBD. And I don't know friends or anyone in my family. No one in my family has it from either sides of my family, and so it's just good to like feel like you can connect with people and talk with them about it. So when I was diagnosed, after that, I pretty much went into research mode, and I've always been the type to kind of just research things, and I knew the quickest thing I could change was my diet, and so that's what I did. And then from that, I immediately knew I wanted to become a nutritionist, and so I did that. I went to I used to work in the nonprofit field prior to all of this. So I worked with communities of color all the time. I worked with women in recovery, women in substance abuse. I worked with men from San Quentin. So like I did a lot of reentry type of work. And so I loved it, but it's very stressful. And it doesn't allow for me to like take breaks of like if I'm interviewing let's say an inmate in a prison or a jail or doing an event, I can't stop and run and use the restroom. You just can't. That's not how it works. And so I kind of knew that I had to change my career as well. So it was like I naturally gravitated towards nutrition. And so I went and got my master's in nutrition, well, integrative and functional nutrition, which really means so I call myself a functional nutritionist, and I'm a certified wellness coach as well. And so I use food as medicine to bring back balance to the body. That's what I do. And so my whole journey with food and IBD, I feel like I wouldn't be here today if I didn't change my diet. Like there's just no way. Or I would have had my colon removed, or J pouch or something like that by now, which is, nothing against people who have it. It's nothing like that. That's just not a path that I want. I don't want it. And I will be loud and proud to say that. I'm trying to avoid that. And so I think that
there's anything wrong with that.
So I just felt like, anyway, so going forward with that, I focused on food and nutrition for not just my own health, but also to heal other people as well, and with autoimmune diseases specifically.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that.
That's my quick intro. I could go on.
Appreciate it. I know that
I'm holding back. I'm like, I don't know what to say.
It's okay.
But yeah.
It's okay. That was very helpful. I appreciate that. That's, my diet has been like a struggle for me. I've had Crohn's disease for 25 years, and I would say the last 11 years has been active with my ileum being removed and a couple of surgeries and stuff. And so I have, so now I have kind of permanent symptoms, and so trying to find the right foods that are IBD friendly is just kind of an ongoing challenge. And so so for the folks out there with ulcerative colitis or IBD that may be new to it, are there some foods or beverages that people should stay away from, that people should maybe try, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I feel like in general you shouldn't do what I call the SAD diet, the standard American diet. You should not. I don't think anyone, whether you have health issues severely or not, health conditions or a disease, I don't think it's beneficial. And it's just a lot of processed food, junk, a lot of refined sugar. So I always believe that, and I see obviously with my clients, not everyone's the same, not everyone has the same even preferences and whatnot. And so I work with my clients where they're at. So I do believe that I take everyone off the standard American diet and get them towards a diet that's like more sustainable for themselves. But I do believe, so I went from that and I've tried vegan, I've tried like pescatarian, I've tried vegetarian, I've tried the SCD, I've tried the low FODMAP, I've tried the elimination. I mean, I've done it all. Like I really have done every diet. For me, where I landed, where I feel the most optimum is more kind of between paleo and vegan, or plant-based, I want to say. I don't want to say vegan, but paleo and plant-based. And so it's not a ton, like when people used to think paleo, I know they think like bacon and bacon fat, you're cooking in all this like lard and stuff, and they promoted it in the past, but for me personally, I don't do well with that. And I don't eat like that even when I did eat strictly like paleo. So I do more like where things come from. So it's like ethical. So, I call myself like a conscious carnivore. I don't eat like conventional meat. I do everything grass-fed. If it's beef, lamb,
nice.
If I'm doing chicken, it has to be pasture raised, free range, things like that. And so that's what I stick to. And then I always stick to dark leafy greens. I always tell everyone they really should be getting more dark leafy greens in. And I know you guys had your episode where you talked a lot about smoothies, and I was laughing so hard when you were talking about CJ hated his smoothie that he made. It was like disgusting. He's like, no, I'm never doing this again. I was like, oh my God, I could give like so many smoothie recipes.
Yeah.
Please send them.
I will.
But I can't say that was hilarious. That was hilarious. And so but I can say that my son, he's like most little kids, they're always on like the McNuggets and the macaroni and stuff like that. And so I can probably say that since I have Crohn's disease and I love smoothies, that he's been having the carrots and the spinach and stuff in his smoothies ever since he was a baby. And so like now that's the only way he knows how to make it. So now it's like that's normal to him to put that kind of stuff into a smoothie, but he still won't eat it outside of it. So like so he won't eat a plate of broccoli, but he'll take a like a pile of broccoli and put it into the blender himself.
Good. Anyway, he can get it. Anyway, that's
right. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
And so awesome. So my next question was kind of that representation point of view. What would you kind of like to see, if you had things, your way, like what would you like to see, in regards to representation, in the African American community, what were some things that need to change in your from your point of view?
Yeah. So, well, I don't identify myself. A lot of people will think automatically that I identify. I used to identify as Afro-Latino.
Oh, my bad. That's ignorant of me. So.
No, it's okay. It's fine. I get it. I've been getting it forever. But just heads up, I'm in the Bay Area. There's no Puerto Ricans. I'm half Puerto Rican. There's no Puerto Ricans. There's no Dominicans. So they don't know what you are. And they're like, oh, you're black or you're mixed with black. Like, I think they just automatically assume that because anyway. anyways, so I am half Puerto Rican and I'm also Egyptian and Palestinian. So that's my whole mix. So I do identify as a person of color. But so for me, I think like in general, what I want to say as just representation of people of color, because I don't want to speak on anyone, whatever they identify as, but I just think that there is this assumption and then not just assumption, but also like stereotype that like we don't deserve to heal ourselves or explore alternative therapies because that's for white people to do. And I've been posting about that a lot, and I've been doing it recently, and trying acupuncture, trying this and that. It's funny because none of those modalities actually come from the white people at all. Like none of them. Everything actually comes from people of color, other countries, Eastern medicine, all of that. But for some reason along the way it got like misconstrued, and I think because economically and financially it was just like they promote it in a way where it's unattainable, right? It's like, oh my God, well, what are you going to do? Choose to pay your rent or try this new therapy that you want to try to possibly heal your condition or give you relief even, or reverse it. And so I think that's where it lies, is like promoting that we too deserve to heal and to explore healing, to explore relief, to explore that. Just like the mental health, I think is condemned as well. It's like you're dealing with depression, like, no, you just gotta stay busy or get up, get a job or do whatever. It's like, no, people really deal with these real issues, and they're so even with their ancestry, I think their ancestors, they're so ingrained and like rooted in us that it's hard to bring it up with our families and our other communities because, like I said, they don't want to bring them up, or maybe they are uncomfortable and we don't know how to bring it up. And so I think the number one thing is like awareness, and keep bringing awareness to it and keep talking about it. I haven't thought long term. It's something I want to start thinking about with what happened with George Floyd and his murder, and now with what I feel is going to be a second civil rights movement, hopefully something like that, that and it's not just a protest, that it's a movement, and that because of this, I've been thinking kind of long term, like, well, where do I want to see myself and what can I do in that terms from the field that I'm in? And so I've consciously always made decisions to not put my money where I feel uncomfortable putting it, or behind companies that I know that don't support communities of color. For example, if I walk into a store, this is just simple on a personal day-to-day basis, but if I walked into a store and it's empty and there's 3 salespeople and they're all white and not one has said hi to me, I'm pissed and I'm gonna walk out. And I've done that before, where I actually stopped and told them, well, you just missed the sale because none of you came up to me, and I walked out. And this is like a natural beauty company where I really wanted to support, because I want to support natural, clean beauty, like a makeup store, for example. And so those type of experiences, I walk out and I will be vocal for the most part and tell someone, if not a manager. And I think that's the other thing. People of color feel like their voices are never heard. And so most people would turn around and just walk out and then maybe complain about it to their friend or their family. But we need to be calling management. We need to be calling the CEO of these companies and saying, this is my experience in your store. What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? And so I've done that. And I've actually had to do that, not just in general with my race. I've had to do that with my health, with my disability, because I've been in tons of stores where I've actually have asked to use the restroom and they deny me and say no. And I there's like that card I have.
The UC card?
Yeah, and I have that. And, I've showed it and they're like, oh well, and I've just got the worst treatment, and I don't know if it's
horrible.
because and age, all of that, and I'm just like, I've actually, because of the experience, I had to run, I've gone on myself, like very embarrassing things because I've been rejected, and I've gone to CEOs and higher ups because of that too, and I think those experiences have made me strong, but also made me realize, like, if I walked out and called my mom and cried to her about it later, someone close to me, what is that going to do? That allows, my emotions, but someone needs to be held accountable and responsible for treating people like this.
Agreed.
And so that's a big thing for me that I think, awareness and bringing it to that.
Right. I've definitely have my fair share of experiences that that could have been handled a lot differently. Especially with health. Like the first I've had like two major surgeries, and so and the surgery that I had in Omaha, as an example, I told somebody that where I won't say the hospital, but but I told somebody where I had the surgery, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're alive. And so like that people thought that that I it's a miracle that I'm here, based on on the treatment of people of color, at that kind of facility and stuff. And also I've just been treated, as a number, by medical professionals and stuff, and I was in severe pain for several months or so, and went to the emergency room several times in 1 year for pain and stuff, and and then I was treated like a kind of like a strung out drug addict because I was in severe pain and trying to look for pain medication and stuff. And so it's just yeah. So the idea that especially in health and wellness, is bringing awareness to the fact that people of color don't have superpowers if we feel the same pain as everybody else.
Yeah.
And so if things hurt the same for everybody, and so and people need, and so people trying out, there's nothing wrong with acupuncture. My wife is works at a health and wellness center, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
And so she's a licensed massage therapist, and so she does the facility that she has does all of that, what she just mentioned, the cupping on the back, and acupuncture. They have a salt booth. They do all different modalities as far as massage therapies and things of that nature. And so, of course, so you're talking to friendly people that believe in what you're doing. Because I definitely believe in there's kind of like the whole person concept. You can do a lot of different things to make yourself feel better. And so, but yeah, so I won't want to talk too much here. I'm gonna have CJ, I'll ask you a couple of questions too.
All right, this is personal questions. So
yeah,
it's about like my appetite and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to eat I want to say 2 to 3 meals a day, but then I got in a flare up, and then my appetite completely went away, and then I had to be forcing myself to eat. And I use cannabis now to try and stimulate an appetite. But I want to know is, how could I easily force food back into myself without hurting myself? Because I know if I eat too much, that ends up hurting me more than not eating.
Yeah. It's not an easy answer to just tell you, you know what I mean? Because for me, like, if I work with anyone, even when my friends will text me at random health questions or nutrition questions, I'm like, okay, we'll go into it, because I just have to know deeper your history a little bit. But yeah, I just want to figure out exactly there's what's the main reason that you have appetite issues, and so wondering where that stems from, deeper, because there's always deeper. I know that some people will have their chronic or autoimmune disease diagnosed, but that doesn't mean that's it. There's so many layers to it, and our GI tract or colon and all of that is not just affected, it's our whole body, our whole system. Once something's chronically inflamed, that's a big issue. And so our whole body, and including our mind, obviously, we experience a lot different than anyone who doesn't have something like that. And so yeah, it's not an easy answer to just answer, a question to just answer, but I could definitely help you one-on-one after that.
I would like that.
Yeah, I'd want to explore with you. I know that you do CBD and flowers and stuff like that. And I saw some of your reviews on it, which is awesome. I was into CBD for a while, but I still take it as tinctures, but not flowers. And so I do tinctures, but I feel like THC would definitely give you stimulate your appetite.
I agree.
Like with people with IBD, like people always say that, like I always get that, even my own doctors, well, how do you keep your weight or this? I'm like, honestly, like I've never lost my appetite since I've had IBD or not. I love food. I was a foodie before. Like I was so bummed when I had to like change my diet, but I love it. I feel like it's kept me alive and afloat for so long and healthy as much as it could be. And so I have to be, I use THC and I have to be very careful because I already have a good appetite, and then you put in the THC and I'm like, all right, I can't stop.
Right.
Turn into a different person.
I know.
And I'm actually myself, I'm getting off prednisone, so I've been on prednisone. I was hospitalized in August. I've been hospitalized a few times for flares, for really severe flares. And in August, I was hospitalized for a flare that was very severe and scared really the hell out of me. I was going to say the shit out of me, but it already did that. So other than that, I was so scared. And then they put me on 60 milligrams prednisone. And so I was on that for a while. I was pissed to be on it, but they were pushing biologics. And that's another thing that I'm trying to avoid, is getting on biologics. And so they put me on prednisone, and I got off 60 milligrams, but I've been on like 20 for like a little bit, for maintenance. And I was finally cleared to like go down. So I'll officially be off of it in less than a week. So I'm like so excited about that. But with my weight with prednisone, like that, when I went into the hospital, I was probably like 110 or 114. I'm like 5'2", so I'm tiny. And then I'm probably like almost 130. I gained weight like really fast from the prednisone, like extremely fast. But I don't really care about weight, never really did, never, still don't. Like as long as I'm healthy and my body's doing what it needs to do, I'm fine with it. I've just kind of always been that way, and so I'm okay. And I work out. I like to work out when I want. I do a lot of yoga. It's like the number one thing I do. I can't do high impact or high intensity. It's just too much, but I do yoga and a little bit of Pilates and stuff like that, but I walk and do yoga a lot. But yeah.
Well, very nice. Well, I wish I could say that I could gain weight easily. It's a struggle, and so so it's still, but that's something that I would like to try to gain about 10 or 15 pounds. It's not even much. It's about just about 20 pounds. Because I'm about like 130 on a great day, and I had a good day, a great day.
Same.
So, and so, but to be that 145, 150, before, because I used to work out like 6 days a week, all these different things, but even then, I've never been over 150 pounds, in my life, because of the first surgery I had,
How old were you when you had your first surgery?
14. So I was like, before puberty, exactly. And so, because I have a twin brother, and he's like 2 inches taller, and like 50 pounds heavier.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And so, like,
does he have IBD?
No, he doesn't. And so literally, it's like we were like the same size, same shirts, same everything, same clothes, and then he just like just got huge on me. So. But he was one with the big appetite. I always felt like he like ate all the food in the womb and stuff. So. but anyway, CJ, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you go about picking supplements, and is there a way not to take too many supplements and actually, get what you need?
Yeah. Supplements are a big thing. I think I get asked that from everyone, especially like friends and family. I always say, so supplements, I do believe 100% that they're helpful, and that's the other thing. So whatever I couldn't get from my diet, I supplemented with. I've now, just like a warning, like even though I'm a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, so I don't treat or claim to treat, disease or anything like that. But I do feel like you do need to get supplements from reputable companies. I feel like I always tell people like Kirkland, Target, CVS, Walgreens, like drugstore, like no, they're not good. They won't work. Like it's a waste of your money. And so there's a lot of good brands out there, like Vital Nutrients, Integrative Therapeutics, Cellcore Biosciences. These are like real labs that are making like bioavailable ready supplements that you can absorb. So a lot of the issues with us with IBD is we can't absorb things, obviously, because the small intestines and large intestines is where, you know, that takes place. And so that's why we're prone to not gaining weight. And then dehydration a lot is a huge one. That's why I usually end up in the hospital for myself. And so I'm constantly trying to hydrate myself all the time. And so supplements, I would say to go with those type of companies first and foremost, like more reputable companies, and then get like the bioavailable forms of things so you can actually absorb it correctly and your body will take it. So like sometimes you probably sometimes you can't take the actual like gel or supplement pill capsule. You take a liquid. You can take every supplement is available for the most part in liquid form. And so I always suggest people who are really struggling chronically with digestion, absorption, to for sure get like liquid supplements first, because you're more prone to digesting it well and responding to it. Vitamin D is the biggest one that I always advocate for. Fish oil, because it's anti-inflammatory, a probiotic, no matter what. Probably 3 or 4 probiotics, to be honest. 3 is like minimum that I take, because there needs to be different strains that need to go into your body. And then, yeah, those are kind of like my main. And then an anti-inflammatory, it could be something like curcumin/turmeric. I take that as well. Boswellia is a Ayurvedic Indian herb that is known for its anti-inflammatory properties as well. And there's a bunch of other good ones out there. I just started a new one called Inflama Control by Cellcore Biosciences. And so I started that about a month ago, while I knew I was tapering from prednisone to hopefully balance it out. And I'm trying to think. I think that's it. Okay.
All right. Well, out of curiosity, speaking of supplements, what are your feelings on like vitamin patches? Just speaking of personal questions, so I'm curious about like vitamin patches. Have you ever seen those?
I've heard of them, but I haven't like used them myself. Or what company is it with?
There's a friend of mine. His partner. She was using them, for her own health needs. And she's kind of like going on about, just how great they are to kind of give you, vitamins, vitamin D, iron, kind of the whole spectrum of vitamins you can get, multivitamin. You can kind of do anything.
Okay.
You can kind of do anything you want with them. Excuse me. There's some of them around like Amazon, I'm sure health stores and stuff. And so I was just curious if you have any experience with that or heard anybody using them. Or
that's a good one. I don't have experience with it. I don't really know. I mean, I've known more like CBD and THC patches, like they're called transdermal because you have to put them either here or the top of your foot for it to be effective to really go into your absorb. So
it sounds similar.
Yeah, I'm open for so many things, like to hear about them and start using them and be like, I'm curious always. So I'm always learning. So I would look into it and check it out, because I think that anything that could go into the skin that way, where you're not constantly having to take 20 pills. Yeah.
Right.
That is definitely something to look at. And I've mentioned before, like IV nutrient therapy on my platform as well, because I used to work in a clinic in San Francisco and they started to do that there. And then that's when I got into it. And so I was doing what's called the Dr. Meyer's cocktail. It's kind of like a multivitamin.
Awesome. Well, I take I was on a monthly B12 shot, and so I'm thinking about replacing that with the patches, doing that all day, and then and then also take again vitamin D too, and multivitamin, all those other kind of stuff. And so I'm not a big fan of taking the big Skittles pack of pills every day if I can avoid it. So so I think I might, I don't know, do a review like CJ or something on the patches. See what they do. But cool. But I think that was fun. I mean, I think might wrap it up here. Was there anything else on your mind? Any other questions for myself or CJ from you? Sarina?
So to be honest, I just felt like a huge wave of like nausea. So I'm like kind of
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm kind of lost right now.
Yeah.
So I experienced that a lot, by the way, like a lot. So excuse me, but I'm kind of out of it. But I would love to, do something where we can all collab again for sure.
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
for sure.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. You're very welcome, and that'll be really fun. I agree. Well, again, my name's Jordan McConnell, host of Crohn's Veteran, with my co-host CJ Cabrera. We were joined today by wellness practitioner and a nutritionist out of California, the amazing Sarina Elaine. So again, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah, catch me on social media, Sarina Elaine. I'm mostly just on Instagram, so catch me on there. Yeah.
Cool. Well, hit her up, follow her, contact her, and reach out to her for health and wellness support and advice. And again, thanks for joining us, and have a good rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.